how you can trade GU this week. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm just going to be taking you through my GU analysis for this week, as I am seeing a few potential very clean zones on it. So if that sounds interesting to you, stick around to the end of the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts below on GU as well. So let's get into it. So let's go through my analysis for GU. So over the past couple of weeks now, GU has sort of switched to this bullish momentum and bullish structure after we had this extended bearish correction on the higher time frames. So if we look on the daily, first of all, you can see that what it looks like price has done is we've wicked out this higher low, because this was the most recent daily higher low. We have higher high, higher low, higher high. Most people would probably have been buying at this higher low. You know, that's a common strategy that people use, is to buy at higher lows and sell at lower highs, because they act as sort of support or resistance. But very often you see it's the case where we have this sort of, it looks like a break of structure, but what it actually is just a liquidity grab for then further buys. And at the moment, what it looks like price has done is price has come below the higher low, came into a lower time frame area of demand, and has now switched bullish again and is looking to target this high. You could say obviously that, you know, we have this sort of daily area of supply. However, in this case, I don't see that holding, because I wouldn't see this as a change of character. Normally, if you see a breaking structure in the opposite direction of the trend, it would be like a change of character. But in this case, I don't see this level holding, simply because if we look left, we haven't reacted from any significant areas. We sort of wicked out this area of liquidity, but we still have all of this imbalance and liquidity to take. So that, as for direction, I'm definitely seeing further buys up to this 1.268 sort of level, and probably higher as well. So that's our direction. And as for entries, we can go down to the lower time frames and break it down a little bit more. So going on the 4 hour, this is much clearer to see. So what you can see is that we've had this sort of, all of this liquidity just here has been swept. We make that clear. All of that liquidity has been swept, and when it swept the liquidity, it came into this sort of area of demand just here. As you can see on the 4 hour, it was this very clear sell to buy candle, which took liquidity to the left imbalance, and we swept liquidity in the process of coming into this demand. When we did that, we go a little bit lower. Once we came into this demand, we had an initial break of structure just here. So that would be our initial change of character. We also continued this upwards momentum. We came back, mitigated this area of demand, broke into new highs. We formed this higher low, higher high, failed this area of supply. Once again, impulsively breaking past this structure with a lot of bullish momentum. We pulled back last week, mitigated this area of demand. That one was kind of already tapped, which is why I wasn't looking for buys at that level last week, and I sort of missed this trade. However, as you can see, it came into this demand, started to shift bullish once again, and then continued this upwards movement even more. So what we can do now, we can mark out the most recent structural significant points. And for me, this would be the most recent high that was taken out. So we can label that on as our break of structure. You could also say this is a higher low, this is a higher low. However, in my opinion, because of the imbalance below and the unmitigated areas, I would see these two simply as liquidity that is going to be taken out some point this week. So this is really the major structural point. If you look on the 4 hour as well, these ones are kind of like these really insignificant pullbacks with a lot of imbalance below. So price is likely going to gravitate towards lower pricing into these sort of areas down here, and fail to hold these levels, in my opinion. And actually price is at a very nice level of supply right now, sort of this level, where we could see those retracements into more discounted levels of demand for then further buys. However, I'm not really interested in the sell side since, as I mentioned, GU is currently very bullish. So as for the buys, what we can look at now is for price to retrace into discounted pricing before then looking for further buys up with a confirmation start entry. So if we get out the fib tool first of all, from the low to the high, what we want to see is for price to retrace somewhere below this 50% level, because then we can consider price to be in a discounted zone, and we always want to make sure we're buying at a discount, not at a premium. It would make no sense to buy where price is right now, for example, because it is very overbought. So yeah, levels where we could actually see price retrace into. At the moment, I'm seeing two main levels. So we have, notice that this candle right here, this sell to buy candle, caused this breaker structure and a lot of momentum came from it. So this would be my first area of interest for price to retrace into. It's also imbalanced, as we can see. The second one would be this one right here. As you can see, this also left imbalance. Price induced it with this wick, meaning that it came very close to the demand but didn't actually tap it. So we could see price retrace, take out this inducement liquidity and come into this area of demand before then making that next move up. This one as well, we go a little bit lower. You can see that we also had this buildup of liquidity. Price swept it with this area of demand, and then we continued up, breaking past structure. So this one is a very valid level of demand for me because we have three main things. We have a sweep of liquidity, we have imbalance, and we have liquidity resting above it. This one as well, we have imbalance, we have that brick structure. We don't yet have the liquidity above unless we consider this sort of trendline liquidity. However, that is quite far above it. So what I'd ideally like to see for GU now is for price to retrace into either this level or this level. And then once we are in these two levels, we want to see something like this, where price gives an initial reaction, sweeps the initial reaction, breaks structure, retest the candle that swept the liquidity, and then we want to see price continue higher, just like this, or same sort of thing, but we come into this area. Both levels are very valid for me. And as for targets, what we can look for is to swing GU all the way up to this current high. Because as I mentioned, there isn't really any significant areas to push price into new lows and stop it from taking this high. Looking on the weekly, this is even more clear to see. We can see that on the weekly, this was simply a pullback for then further buys up to one of probably these levels of supply. We have this one, and we also have this one. This one right here I don't see holding because we have a lot of liquidity resting above it. We may get a sweep and then a drop. However, that is very long term, and at the moment we're only intraday trading, so we're not really focusing on those two levels. We're just looking for price to buy up to this 1.268 level. So if you guys found this video useful, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and drop in the comments below your thoughts on GU as well. If you want to see live updates and my live analysis, as well as copy all of my trades, I'll leave a link to that in the description below as well. You can also go to my website and see the current track record for that signals group if you would like, but I'll catch you guys in the next video.